Thank you so much, Mr. Chi. Whew. You see, with Toastmasters, you move from oh no, and you go to a poetic display. That's the plethora and the beauty of being a Toastmaster. Everything is acceptable as long as it's fun. And in this moment, yet again, I am privileged, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the next speaker for this evening. Now, you know, when you have to introduce speakers, you are sent a long bio that you need to memorize, that you need to think of how will I say this word, that you need to think of, this is too long, that you need to think of, will this fit into 5 to 7 minutes, which you need to think of, I'll be evaluated. You think of a whole lot when you're sent a speaker's bio, but as the host, I can twist the rules a little. A speaker's bio always speaks of what they've achieved in the past, and yet we always say, no, you can't define someone by their past, right? So rather we define them by their present, or what they give out in this present time. You know? But at the same time, it's a good thing to introduce a speaker by saying things that you know will sparkle, you know, that corner in their eye, because it's things that excite them. One of the things that excites the next speaker is that he loves traveling and learning about different cultures. So I do believe in the networking session, he will speak to someone from Eswatini and learn about Isiswati. He will speak to someone from Botswana and learn more about Botswana despite the video. He will speak to a South African and learn more about South Africa. I think I can quickly hustle a Mopani one or two and he can taste them. He will get to network and learn more about, you know, the different cultures. And one of the other things that stood out in his bio for me is that he has a professional race car driving license. Now, that made me wonder that, can we not start a Toastmasters Formula 1 team? And I nominate myself to the team principal. Richard, we are losing the tires. Please slow down. No. I am pressing on. What is my time against the guy who's in front of me? It's 0.1 second, but we have to preserve the tires. I'll be team principal. You see, I'm already assimilating that role. And that's something that stood out for me, that he has a racing car driving license, which allows him, with his limited time, to spend some time on the racetrack, let alone that he spends more time helping people develop more of who they are and become the best version of themselves. And I do believe his keynote, which is titled The Importance of Personal Branding, aligns to, you know, what I've just said. Yeah, people will forget what you said and they'll remember how you made them feel. How are you feeling? Yes. So in my introduction of this next distinguished Toastmaster, who is a race car driver, I'll never forget that. Race car driver. Fellow Toastmasters in present and fellow Toastmasters online and our distinguished guests, do help me in welcoming and giving a warm, beyond borders welcome to our next keynote speaker, none other than our immediate past international president, who is, after his keynote, going to battle for his DTM title on the dance floor. Do you help me welcome, with his keynote titled, The Importance of Personal Branding, Mr. Richard E. Peck, DTM.
But before you go and sit down. I want you to come back up here for 1 minute. Did anyone notice when they had the video for Angola what was going on up here? Yeah. He was watching out of the corner of the eye. Trying to get it, right? We almost had it. Trying. But he did much better than I'm going to do it. It's a true pleasure to be with you tonight in the now endemic period, we hope, where we can start to get back together. The funny part is, I've met many of you through a 1 by 2 inch box on my computer screen. Now, Jabulo asked earlier, how many of you had connected with other countries in Southern Africa? Did we ever get a tally on that, Jabulo? No. Well, I can tell you that I think I've connected with every country but one in Southern Africa. And I remember being in Namibia, Granny B shaking her head in the back, and Merle Juber teaching me a word. And she said, I want you to learn how to say thank you. And I said, okay, well, as you heard, want to be a study of culture and language. How do I say thank you? And she says it's simple. Just say, I want to buy a donkey. And I looked at her and said, what? And she said, just say, I want to buy a donkey. Granny, am I wrong?
100% correct.
Because donkey is actually how you say thank you. And I've taken that with me. And I've taught it to other countries and clubs as I visit them. And I'm happy to say that I have visited 143 countries. Oh, yeah. So I challenge you to go beyond the borders and meet with as many countries as you can. Now, Andrew asked me to speak to you tonight about personal branding and the importance of it. And I think today, in today's environment, it's so important to have a personal brand. Something that sets you apart. And why is it important now, more important now than it was before? Well, before, you were more locally known. That's where your personal brand hit, at home, where people knew you, where it was easy to network, easy to connect. But in today's virtual environment, your brand is global. It truly, truly is global. Because there are no borders anymore. That's one of the great things of the pandemic. I know it's hard to put those two words together, right? Great and pandemic. Doesn't make sense. But if it weren't for what we learned, the great audience that we have online wouldn't be with us tonight. We wouldn't be here with each other. We wouldn't be connecting around the world. We could have people here on this call from anywhere in the world tonight participating. So your brand is really global now. It's really what sets you apart. And how many of you have LinkedIn profiles? Several of you. If you don't have one, they're a great tool for networking. LinkedIn is more of a professional network out there. But what sets you apart on LinkedIn? What sets you apart from the other people in this room? That's your personal brand. That's your personal brand. Now, if I asked you, and we can unmute the people online if you'd like to unmute and participate, it'd be great. If I was to ask you, just shout it out. What does personal brand mean to you? What does personal brand mean to you? All right, I'm going to do this like table topics. If you don't raise your hand, I'm calling on somebody. stand for? What you stand for? What's your image? What you stand for?
What comes into people's minds when they see you? That word that says that's you.
What comes into people's mind when they see you? Nikki?
Reputation.
Reputation. Anyone online?
Identity.
Identity. Excellent.
What you stand for. How you package yourself.
Very good. Are we Googling this? Are you watching the chat for me? I'm sorry. Are you my Zoom master? Oh, excellent. Thank you. In the back.
Your values.
Your values. Correct. These all go in. Go ahead.
This also speaks about your mastery, something you've mastered.
Something you master.
Okay.
All of that has to go into a brand. Something that separates you, something that tells the world about you. Andrew's a trainer. If he says, my personal brand is I'm a trainer, well, I'm a trainer, I'm a trainer, I'm a trainer, you're a trainer, that doesn't separate Andrew from me. So what is it that separates him from the rest of the pack, from the rest of the trainers? I would say that I train leaders. Well, everybody here trains leaders. That doesn't separate me from them. But I'm passionate about it. I hold it in high value. I'm respected for it, I think. But that doesn't really set a brand. Now, if I said that I help leaders achieve more than they believe by tearing down barriers, that's a statement, right? That separates me from somebody else. So tonight, I want you to work on a brand statement. That's going to be what we're going to do. It's going to be kind of an interactive session. And I'm going to ask you on the sheets of paper, thank you for providing pens and paper. This will be very handy for you. I want you to think about this. What is something that you are passionate about doing? What is something that you're passionate about doing? And write that down on a sheet of paper, because I'd like to hear from a few of you about what it is you're passionate about. And then I'm going to tell you how to take what you're passionate about and find the things that will help you develop your personal brand statement. Now, I don't want to exclude the people online. I'm not sure how to do this. Hi. Over there. Over there. There we are. Know your audience. I don't even know where my audience is at. So people, those of you joining us online, thank you and welcome. We want you to participate in this as well. We'll take a couple minutes and think about writing down on paper what it is that you're passionate about, or what it is you aspire to be. Because they're two different things. You can be passionate about something but not want to do it. Or there can be something that you're passionate about and you want to aspire to be that. Okay? So we're going to take a couple minutes, write those down. I see people writing away already. And then I'm going to ask for you to share them. What it is that you are passionate about and aspire to be. Awkward silence of a Toastmasters. We need to have that music in the background. And again, this is no exception. You can be writing things down too.
I have some answers coming in from online, but as I speak, they can't hear me.
Okay.
So you'll need to repeat what I say.
Okay, excellent. Trying to adjust the mic. Is this better now? Can you hear me better? Excellent. You kept it long down. All right, so we have some answers online. All right.
From Paul, I'm passionate about helping young people unleash their potential.
I'm passionate about helping young people unleash their potential. Great aspiration, almost a brand statement right in its own. Anyone else? We We got someone in the room that wants that. Jugulo, I saw you writing something down. What do you have?
I copied in Paul. I said helping others unleash their true potential.
Helping others unleash their true potential. Anyone online?
Yes, I'm passionate about firing people up to be the best they can be.
Firing people up to be the best they can be. I think we have some Toastmasters in this room that have been doing that. Fire them up, dancing, all that. Who else? Anyone in the room? Granny B.
Inspiring action!
Inspiring action. Very simple statement. Great brand statement. Anyone else?
To inspire the masses to always reach for their next level.
Say it again for me.
To inspire the masses to always reach for their next level.
Always reach for your next level. Inspiring others to always reach for their next level.
Inspiring a game-changing mentality.
Inspiring a game-changing mentality? Is that what I heard? Excellent. Excellent. All right. Anyone else? No? Okay. So we've got some great statements here. Was there any statement there that just really grabbed a hold of you and said, yes, I want to go with that person? Well, there were a couple I thought were pretty good. The power statements of inspire, unleash, those say something to me. They're verbs, they're actions. But how do you know if you can do that? How do you know if you can inspire somebody, if you can unleash a potential? First thing is you have to know what that means. What is potential in people? Can you identify that? So if I say that I inspire people to unleash their passion, first I have to know how to inspire them. I've been known to be pretty uninspiring sometimes. I'm working on it. Toastmasters is helping me with that. But I also have to know how to identify what passion means. So whenever we have a brand statement, whenever we're trying to sell ourselves, there's more to it than just what we say. There's more to it than just the words we attach. We have to have the skills to do it. If I said, I'm a traitor to the stars, and all I did was stand outside under a nice clear night and train the stars to do something, that's not really a traitor to the stars, although I can say it. So what skills do you have, do you bring, that will help you say, yes, I can help inspire others. I can unleash power. I can help the massive develop a creative mindset. Because if I was going to say, explain to me what a creative mindset was, you'd have to sell me. If I was going to tell you that I help leaders tear down barriers and become the best they can, I'd have to be able to tell you how to tear down a barrier. I'd have to be able to tell you how to identify a barrier, which I can in my workshop, tearing down barriers. That is not on the slate this weekend, so you'll have to look me up at one of my future conferences. So I want you to take a true look at yourselves, a true introspective look. And write down some skills that you think you have. And I need you to be critical. I need you to be critical, because this is important. We all say that we have a skill, but we have to be able to back it up. So what are the skills that we have inside us? Same goes for those of you online. What are skills that you have that you can bring out to help others, if that's indeed what you want to do? I have heard, and I can't remember who said it to me, that the districts in Africa, their goal is to develop leaders for Africa. That is the goal. That is the statement. So if that is your goal, What skills do you have to develop leaders in Africa? If it's to help with a creative mindset, what skills do you have to identify a creative mindset? I'm going to give you a couple minutes just to think about what your skills are, what you're going to bring forward. You know, those of you who are running for district office in the next couple of days have skills that you're going to bring forward and probably have a brand statement that's going to help you in that role. But you probably haven't used that brand statement to help you with this. But it's something that separates you from the others running for the same position. Frank is no longer in the room here. I don't see him anyhow. You know, he's the incoming region advisor. Outgoing region advisor. And he's brought a skill set into that position that separated him from the rest. But that's what it is. That's what your personal brand statement is. So think about some skills, and we'll talk about those in a couple minutes. It doesn't have to be the same people speaking all the time. But I do want to make sure that we're keeping our online audience engaged as well. And I actually see Betty Ann writing down a couple skills, so she knows she's going to get called on. Hey, they picked on me when I got here. It's your turn now. I'm up on the stage. I have control of the mic. You know what they say, never give a Toastmaster the mic. Do we have anything coming in online?
Marcus would like to know if his dancing skills count.
That, I'll give him that skill, yes.
There's one online from Jasmine. I aspire to become a distinguished Toastmaster, not a DTM. One skill, perseverance.
Perseverance. How many people think that skill was important over these last 2 years? Perseverance and resilience. I think those were probably two of the greatest skills that we all learned. That, patience, and empathy. All right, who'd like to share a couple skills with us that they have, that they feel will help them develop their brand statement and meet what it is that they're trying to do?
From online, we've got administration.
Administration.
Discipline and organization.
Discipline and organization.
Persuasive skills. Persuasive.
Persuasive skills. You haven't persuaded me yet.
Good listener.
Stick around some.
Stick around, I'll hear more on the social media. Got it. What else we got online?
Leadership skills.
Leadership skills. Okay, so leadership skills isn't defined though. That's a nebulous statement. So what are leadership skills?
Interpersonal skills.
Interpersonal skills. Okay, a little bit more defined.
Emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence, big thing nowadays.
Connecting with people. Connecting with people.
Connecting with people, the ability to connect with people is a skill, for sure.
Courage.
Courage, attribute for sure.
And logic.
And logic. Courage and logic, those two need to go together, for sure.
Creative.
What's that?
Agility.
Agility. Didn't we all have to be agile over this period?
Yeah.
We pivoted on a dime. We all learned to dance. Nobody got to see us, but we all learned to dance in this environment. Jabula, I saw you writing a couple things down.
Mrs. Taylor says empathy.
Empathy.
Resilience. Patience.
Patience, yeah. Jabula, I wanted to give you credit. I'm sorry, I forgot earlier for using all those languages today. I spoke in Tamil Nadu and decided I was going to use Google Translate. Don't do that. The woman behind me as I was speaking, I was, what's he saying? But then she came up in there and said, well, at least you tried. some of the skills you're bringing forward?
I discovered that I care deeply.
Caring
And
deeply.
people need to be cared for. To
Absolutely.
connect, in order to connect.
Absolutely. Caring deeply. Well said. Betty Ann, I know you're writing a couple things down there. I am going to put you on the spot. Betty Ann is actually running for Club Growth Director this weekend, so we're wishing her well.
And I think I have a better chance of 5 people who are running next, so I'm going to bring 6, 7 people.
Betty Ann, what are some of the skills that you bring forward? You've been a PRM for 2 years now, so you have a litany of skills.
Well, there were some that took my thunder, but empathy, perseverance, some ability to adapt,
Ability to adapt, agility, yeah. Excellent. Excellent.
the ability not to kill you for being on the side.
And surely, yes.
And that's skill.
So now you know what you're now you have some idea of what you're aspiring to want to be, what it is that you are passionate about. You have an idea now of what skills you have that may build into that. So how do you take those skills, that passion, and write a power statement that separates you from the rest? I read one of a personal trainer who says, I believe in you. Now you need to believe in yourself. How simple words. I said mine earlier that I help individuals achieve their best by tearing down barriers. I know how to identify barriers. I know how to help people identify them. And then once we've figured out what the barriers are, we can show you how to reach farther. I want everyone to stand up. I want to give you an example of how I can show you to be better than you think you can be. If you're online and you stand up, please feel free to stand up and join us. Gentlemen, unbutton your jacket. It's really awkward if your jacket's buttoned. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to reach as high as you can. Reach up as high as you can. Okay? You want to reach as high as you can. Good. Excellent. That won't make you hold it up there for too long. All right, put your arm out. Shake it out. Okay. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Ready? Okay, I want you to reach higher this time. Everyone reach higher this time. Put it back there. Shake it out. One more time. Reach higher this time. All right, put it down. Sit down. Okay, that felt pretty foolish, right? Why are we doing this? What did I ask you the first time?
Reach as high as you
Reach as high as you can. Yeah, how come on the last time you reached higher? Because you limited yourself by what you thought you could do the first time you reached up. But because I convinced you to reach higher each time, you broke your own barrier and did it. Those are the skills we learn. Those are how we set our statements that set us apart. And just that simple exercise can show you how important you can be in changing the way people perceive things and how they perceive themselves. Now, Andrew asked me to open it up for question and answer tonight. So I'm going to, before we close out tonight, allow you to ask any questions that you may have about personal brand, my strategies for it, strategic analysis, personal strategic analysis. I will give some thoughts on that as well. But what it is you'd like to know, because it's okay for me to give you information. But how do I know if I'm giving you the right information if we don't interact, if we're not having the conversation? And for me, communication is bidirectional. It's me giving to you, you give it back to me. And I know I'll get an evaluation later, I'm already waiting. I'm pretty sure I didn't have any ums or Sure.
I just want to get a mic.
Okay, perfect, thank you. That'd be great.
I get together now.
And we can open this up for online too for anyone who'd like to ask a question.
Thanks, Richard. I resonated a lot with your presentation because it's something that I think about a lot, building personal brand. Now, when you become a Toastmaster, and especially as soon as you get into leadership, club leadership, area, division, eventually you find yourself being more a Toastmaster than being your personal brand, and eventually your personal brand becomes Toastmasters. Now, I'm going to ask this question this way. How do you leverage on that Toastmasters brand to build your own brand? Because eventually you become like a master Toastmaster. Whenever you see people say Toastmaster.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question, that you have a personal brand and then it becomes a Toastmasters brand, and how do you get it back, right? Somebody stole my identity. I think the personal brand still exists. It's the skills that have now become more developed to help you increase your personal brand. So your personal brand may have been that you were a trainer, a leadership development trainer, and that's how you saw your personal brand. But now you've gained a new skill set. And does that skill set allow you to make that brand stronger and more definitive, separating you from others? Right? So, PRM's in the room. Some of you have strategies and a personal brand statement that says, I can increase marketing by, reaching new networks. Others have, I can increase your visibility through unique marketing. It's the skill set. PRMs are PRMs, but it's the skill sets they bring that separate them from it. So never let your personal brand be taken over by something else. Let the skills you develop your personal brand into a stronger statement. And I think that's what you learn. Because you're a leader at a club, that's not necessarily as strong of a leadership skill set as you're going to get when you're a district director or a leader of an organization. So they just help you intensify it. Anyone else? Randy B. and then Jabulo, and we have anything online?
Not yet.
Okay.
The PRM, that statement that you make, is there a seriousness on the length and number of words or the flow? Is there something significant about that?
No, it's not, because a brand statement it should be short, right, and to the point, but you can't always get a straight and to the point statement in a very short period of time. It may require a number of words. So that brand statement that I read from the trainer, personal trainer, I believe in you, now you need to believe in yourself. Doesn't really tell me a lot about what that trainer is going to do, but that is their personal brand statement. A PRM who's telling me, I can increase your visibility by providing unique marketing skills. Okay, that tells me what you're going to do for me and how you're going to do it. And that's a brand for me. So the number of words, not as important as the statement itself. Jabulo had a statement.
Thank you. From my side, it's about how do you differentiate your personal brand. I'll give you an example. When I read mine, the difference between my statement and post statement, 2 words, young, true. Other than that, it was the same. Yet you want to be successful and stand out. So how do you do that effectively but stay true to your cause?
Yeah. So your vision, your personal brand statement is those words, right? But it's the skills behind them that are going to set you apart. So if I went to both of you, and there's only 2 words separating your brands, it's like shopping around. Okay? What can you do for me? What can you do for me? Where am I going to get the most value? And I think that's one of the big keys. We all want to have these as, if I'll use Andrew, we all have to have these Mercedes-Benz statements out there. The best or nothing. But if you can't back up that best or nothing statement, it's that's a nothing statement. Yeah.
Richard?
Yes?
Vusi? Look, it's quite nice because we're talking about the brand in a good sense, right? And that's the narrative we're pushing. You need to be a certain kind of a character and you're a brand. But you do have bad brands, in a sense, bad people, how the society defines them, yet they achieve what they want to achieve. They get the reciprocated love from the society. So how do you become authentic to who you are and still preserve that brandedness in the society? Better good. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a great question. Authenticity is the key. You can't be anybody else. You really can't. And be true to yourself. And the statement is always be you, everybody else is already taken. But the statement about there being people with a great brand out there and a negative image. Social media is a killer on that. Facebook has destroyed more people's lives, in my opinion, than anything else. Because you put something out there and all of a sudden the world of people who you don't even know jump on that statement and start tearing it apart. Well, if you're out there and you start giving keynote presentations or start delivering marketing strategies or leadership development strategies, it's only going to take about 1 or 2 tries where it goes bad before social media has got you. And that brand statement that you have won't be worth anything. So you have to be true enough to yourself that if somebody posts something, it's not going to be a negative statement. And we talk about integrity, right? And integrity is doing the right thing when no one's watching. I look at integrity as this. Integrity is doing the right thing regardless of the situation. You may be the only person in the room that believes that way, but don't change the way you believe because somebody else and everybody else is believing something else. But there's also an ethical piece to it as well, and ethics are different. Ethics are doing the right thing based on the situation. So the trio may have said, we don't agree with this, we don't agree with Jabulo, but we're going to do it anyhow. Well, they get out in public and they go, well, none of us agree with them. That would be unethical behavior. They acted with integrity in the room and they said what they had to say. They act ethically when they're with each other. So you have to hold both an integrity level and an ethical level in order to be authentic. If you're changing for other people, then they're changing you. And that's not authentic. We all change over time, but we have to control how we change. We were talking, and I'll make this short because I know I'm just over on time. Talk about legacy. And I know this is off topic, but personal branding sometimes will be your legacy. How many of you actually think you are creating a legacy? Yeah, I got news for you, you're not. You're not. And I mean that in the best of ways. Because after you're gone, after you've left the footprint on this earth, others leave your legacy for you. It's how they remember you. It's how you made them feel. So you may have thought that you've done the best in the world, but if you've hurt somebody, your legacy with them is different. So as we have to be authentic, and hope that we leave it that way, because we want our legacy to be that. But others are going to say it for us. So remember how you treat them.
questions for Mr. Richard E. Peck, DTM. We did not time him. Oh.
I got the red card.
I can't compete with that red card. Other red cards I could nullify. We could do a VAR.